My name is Michael Spurgeon, and I'm the city manager. On behalf of the Broken Arrow City Council, I would like to thank everyone that is here today, from the press, the city's leadership team. We have many of the members of our Broken Arrow Fire Department. A number of those will actually be housed in the new replacement station when it's finished. I also see a number of officials from the Broken Arrow Police Department, which I'd like to thank. Public safety is extremely important in this community, and we try to support each other as much as possible. First thing I'd like to do is I'd like to take this opportunity, since we are televising either Facebook Live or we will be showing the videos, I'd like to thank the voters of Broken Arrow. The voters of Broken Arrow historically have supported public safety. Each and every time we've asked them to approve a bond package, whether it was for a new structure like today or a vehicle, an ambulance, a new piece of apparatus, they've always come through and supported, because they recognize in many ways the success of a community starts and ends with making sure that it's a safe community, a community that the police and fire are supported, so if in fact there is a need, our citizens are taken care of. Secondly, when you talk about doing a topping off or a groundbreaking ceremony, which we could not do this year because of the pandemic, you always want to thank a few folks that actually made this happen. And I'd like to start off with, once again, our city council. Secondly is the fire chief, Jeremy Moore, and his leadership team. And also I know that a number of the rank and file firefighters had an opportunity to comment on what is important to them, since they will utilize the facility more than anyone else. Secondly, there was a lot of hard work that was put in by the engineering and construction department, not only during the plans and specifications, but also inspecting the site to make sure that the facility meets the expectations of the Broken Arrow community. I'd also like to thank our architect, GH2. They do a very good job of working with the city, and we're very pleased to have a relationship with them. I'd just like to close before I introduce Mayor Thurmond, just once again by expressing how much we appreciate the support that we get from the Broken Arrow community. Public safety, specifically our fire department, it is one of the best in our state as well, if not the region, and that's demonstrated by the fact that just recently this year, and I think it's so important to reiterate, is that we achieved the highest recognition that you can receive when it comes to ISO ratings. We went from a 2 down to a 1, and it takes new improvements and the expansion of existing improvements in order to maintain that. And so I'd just like to thank all of the fire department, as well as the governing body and the community, for supporting public safety, specifically our fire department. And I would like to at this time introduce our mayor, Craig Thurmond, and he'll say a few words, and then we'll move forward with the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. This is really an important day. When we do feel that in Broken Arrow that the number one charge of government, whether it's at the federal, state, or local level, is public safety. So it's so important that we have this new event, this new station here. When we start thinking about Station 3 and can't fit a full-size vehicle in there, now we can fit whatever we need in here. So it's good for many years. So I do want to thank the citizens again for voting for this bond to pass this, to be able to build this station. And I again thank the council, particularly which we have all of the councilors here: Vice Mayor Scott Udi, Councilman Johnny Parks, Councilor Deborah Wimpy, and Councilor Christy Gillespie are all here. So it's very important that we stand behind our public safety, and we do. So I do want to thank the fire department for all the work that they do to keep us safe, and the police department. So now I will introduce our fire chief, and he'll tell us a little bit about what we're going to do today. Chief Jeremy Moore.
Well, thank you for being here. It's such a great day to celebrate this new building behind me, Fire Station number 3. It's exciting to be a part of all the momentum happening across the city of Broken Arrow, from growth and improvements happening all around us. And at the fire department, we're honored to be a part of the critical infrastructure to protect our community and to deliver a great quality of life for our citizens. We are celebrating not only a new fire station today and the progress we've made on it, but I think today is a great time to celebrate the progress we're making as one of America's safest communities. And to be a safe community, it takes absolutely commitment. And the other speakers have talked about the commitment that has been made by councils who have come before us and our city manager to make sure that these projects come to fruition. Peter Drucker, the 2002 Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, said, "Unless commitment is made, There are only promises and hopes, but no plans. And today's fire station, I'll give just a little bit of history on today's fire station, but it has been a commitment from our citizens and from our council and from our city manager to bring it to fruition. And this community continues to provide our firefighters, the men and women standing here behind me today, provide our firefighters the tools and equipment, the trucks and the stations that we need to deliver the best fire service and emergency medical service in the nation. So again, I want to say thank you to the council, our city manager, Michael Spurgeon, and our citizens for passing bond issues to make this possible. And I'll give you just a little bit of history on those bond issues and how this station came to be what you see behind us today. So in 2010, the fire department administration at that time decided that we needed to work towards replacement of Fire Station 3. Currently, it was built in the early 70s, and it just was not meeting the needs of today's modern fire service and emergency medical service. So we went before the voters, and the voters and council committed then that we would build a new Fire Station 3, and they passed a bond for $2.3 million to build Fire Station number 3, and that money was intended to buy the land, design the fire station, build the fire station, and buy a new fire engine 3 and a new ambulance that we call Squad 3, along with all the associated equipment. Well, it wasn't long before we realized $2.3 million was not going to be sufficient to provide all that we had promised in 2011 to our citizens. So in 2014, again, we went back to the citizens, and again, they showed their commitment to public safety, and they showed their commitment to the fire department, and passed another $1.7 million in 2014 to build the fire station and buy the land. Mr. Spurgeon and I joined the city in 2015. And at that time, we decided we were going to make methodical, data-driven decisions, and we commissioned a study to determine the best location for Fire Station 3 and all future fire stations. We had a groundbreaking for Fire Station 7 just a couple weeks ago, and these stations are in the right locations based on data-driven decisions and our graphic information systems, our response times, as well as our other operational needs. We're making sure that these fire station locations are right for decades to come for our citizens. And in 2015, the council adopted that study and said this is absolutely where we need to build these stations. And so we went forward to find architects, mentioned GH2, and they worked with us to design and build this station. But it wasn't long before we realized we were short of the funding we needed to be able to deliver the promise from 2011. And so here we are 9 years later. And I have to say, commitment is really what it took to get here. And this council committed to having a great fire station with modern equipment, modern safety features, wonderful new fire apparatus. The brand new Engine 3 that we put on the streets last week is behind us. Our brand new Squad 3 is over there as well. And rather than cutting corners and making the station have some smaller or not all of the modern technology and safety features that we need, this council and city manager made the commitment to rise up and do whatever it took, and they closed a $1.2 million gap between the bonds that were passed in 11 and 14 to be able to build this fire station that's here behind us. So my hat is off to the council and our city manager, Michael Spurgeon, for their commitment to public safety in our community and their commitment to the fire department and ensuring that these men and women who are on the front lines of our fire department and on the front lines of the streets every day have the tools and the equipment and the stations and the trucks and everything they need to help us fulfill our mission of serving others. We're here to serve you, and this is enabling us to do that and do it in a safe manner, and we believe this decade will last us for decades to come. So thank you for being here today. At this time, we're going to honor that commitment of our council and all of our firefighters, and we're going to sign the beam, the final beam that will go up on the fire station. So I invite everybody to come grab a pen if you haven't already had the chance to sign the beam and leave your mark and your commitment to future public safety right here on our fire station before we raise this final beam. So thank you so much for being here today, and please come join us and grab a pen if you haven't done so already.
Okay, that concludes the speaking portion of the ceremony. We are going to ask everyone, if you would like to sign, to please come do so. We'll take a couple of minutes to get that process out of the way. Then I think we're actually going to lift the beam and basically put it in place. I would like to mention one thing that is actually pretty cool is that Right now, the city of Broken Arrow has 5 public facilities somewhere in the construction process. We've got 2 fire stations, we have our Veterans Center, we have our new Arts Center, and shortly we will have our senior annex. And that just tells you the type of commitment in a fast-growing community to be able to support the needs of every single entity or individuals within our community. I just want to take my hats off to the mayor and council and the citizens for providing great public services to our community a priority. So with that, if you'd like to sign, please come forward and sign, and then we'll move out of the way safely so that we can put the topping off of the beam, and then we can move forward with the completion of this project. Thank you, folks.